thought you had your jaw broken into pieces. What is it? And you're perfectly, there's no swelling, there's nothing. How's that healing coming along?
Yeah, I got 4 plates in my jaw, but that's part of the sport, and the healing process has been a little bit tough. I'm a little bit tired. It's hard to sleep. I go onto the pillow and then my jaw twerks up to the left and I wake up. But it's all part of the sport, and it was an amazing night, and I learned a lot, gained a lot of experience, and we're moving on to more fights this year.
Jake Paul has finally spoken, and this time it feels different. For the first time since his brutal bout with Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul has ended his silence after undergoing frightening jaw surgery, revealing that he now has 2 metal plates permanently fixed in his face. Suddenly, the entire discussion has changed, because this is no longer just about losing a fight. It's about whether Jake Paul can ever compete the same way again. According to Jake, the operation was unavoidable. The damage from the Joshua fight was real, serious, and far worse than most people originally believed.
Like, you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
but
competition.
It hasn't, yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that guy, and he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Yeah, his movement in that fight was crazy.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
He was really keeping him moving around the whole ring, and then
you can't afford to get tired. That's the thing, is like, he gets tired in a lot of his fights in the later rounds. You should really sort that out. Because if he had a much bigger gas tank, like if he was training with like some of these elite world-class strength and conditioning coaches and just worked on his cardio, he'd be beating way more guys.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. But it's like, what he's doing is learning how to box, and he's boxing and he's training hard for sure. But to get that world-class gas tank, you need like a Sam Calavita, you need like a Nick Curson, you need like these plyometrics experts that got heart rate monitors on you, and they're checking when your recovery is ready and go.
Yeah.
And you're fucking yeah. You need guys monitoring your recovery, monitoring your heart rate variability, your VO2 max.
I couldn't believe it.
I don't know. Maybe he is. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he is doing that. But whatever it is, it's not
enough.
Jake's jaw.
And his teeth look a bit removed as well.
Yeah, his teeth have come out of place. But credit to him, he done well. But I told him what was going to happen. But it just took 6 rounds to do that.
People will criticise you for going 6 rounds with Jake Paul. How do you feel about that?
I deserve it.
Why? Come on.
They have the balls ever to step in a boxing ring in their life. He stepped in a boxing ring with one of the baddest men on the planet, who's 40 pounds heavier than him and 6 inches taller. That's insane. He's one of the most skilled fighters on the planet. My brother, as a fucking YouTuber, went 6 rounds with him in a fight with a broken jaw and rolled ankle. I'm so proud of him. That was just unbelievable.
I saw you talking crap to AJ at one point.
I was trying to get his head. I think I pissed him off. I was just saying that shit. I love AJ.
Yeah.
But bro,
I saw you going them.
I was talking so much. But I just pissed him off. Then he broke my brother's jaw. Fuck this guy.
Broke his jaw, huh?
Yeah, his jaw's fucked. Yeah. He don't care though. Jake's having a fucking blast.
Yeah. We'll see him back again for sure?
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Logan.
Thank you,
Appreciate you, brother.
A shattered jaw, broken teeth, metal plates inserted to stabilize his face. And even though he insists he will return, the boxing world isn't convinced, and neither are the fans. Because once you suffer that kind of damage, everything changes. Your confidence changes, your instincts change, and even your willingness to stand in the pocket changes.
I think the answer to that question was proven last night. Bro, you can take a shot. Anthony Joshua hits you with probably his hardest shot that we've seen drop every other single fighter that he's fought.
Yeah.
And he hit you in the face, and not only did you not get knocked out, you dropped and said, wow.
I was like, wow, that was nice. I was on the ground. I was like, that was a good shot.
Dude, did he surprise you with his power?
No, to be honest, no. But, I mean, he surprised my jaw. It's literally snapped, face, bro. It's literally snapped.
Dude, when
completely snapped.
After the fight, you were like, I think like one of my teeth is, and you open your mouth, and I was the first to see it. I went, oh, you broke your jaw, dude.
We have to see if it is a broken jaw. Those injuries are very difficult to come back from. But as AJ said, like that last shot would have knocked out a lot of heavyweights. And I know he went down heavy, but you know, he was conscious on the floor. And I thought his game plan, although obviously very negative early on, which it had to be, was smart at times. And there were times where he held his feet and let his hands go. It was a very one-sided fight. It was always going to be a one-sided fight. But you can't give him anything but credit and respect. There's a lot of negative people out there. There's a lot of people who want to criticize people. They're not doing what Jake Paul's done. He just went in with Anthony Joshua and gave it his best shot. Took a lot of punishment and ended the fight eventually on his feet after the stoppage. So, I think he'll have to see physically how that jaw, I don't know the severity of it. It's a very difficult injury to come back from. But
any of these fights prearranged? Are they fixed at all? Is there any discussion about, hey, you take an L, you're going to go down here? Because everybody says, oh, you held fucking Mayweather up. Mayweather held your brother up.
It's bullshit. I don't know about anything else in the fight. I'm talking about my fights. I can't speak to anyone else's fights, but also highly illegal. Like you go to prison for the rest of your life type shit.
Well, with the Ben Askren fight, I actually believed you would have beaten Ben Askren. I just, he didn't look in shape or at all. But I feel like, in my opinion, it was kind of fixed on how early you knocked him out. I don't know.
Anderson Silva's going to lose. You think Woodley's going to take a fall? You guys, these guys.
Yeah, no, I didn't think Anderson would take a fall. But I ain't going to lie. I hate that you knocking out MMA fighters.
And I understand that, but just say that. You don't got to say oh, bro, he's on steroids and shit. Come on. It's a federal crime. It's illegal.
Hey, he made a good point. He said it is illegal to fix fights. It is. Because people be betting on that shit.
And bro, people think I'm a multi-billionaire. They think I'm a billionaire and he paid somebody $40-50 million to take a fall like that, bro. I don't have that type of money laying around to throw at people.
Hey, I'm sorry to have to ask you this, but I know you probably signed NDA, but blink twice if that Jake Paul fight was set up.
Blink twice.
I know you probably
I don't never blink because I got these liberty eyes. I don't need much air, to keep them open. A lot of people wonder that, but think about this. If I say, Rampage, I'm gonna pay you $2 million, right? That this dude beat you, what you gonna do? You're gonna feel disrespected, number one.
Yeah.
Right, that ain't enough money.
Yeah.
But I got paid in the Jake fights. For me to do that, I gotta be willing to walk away for good, and they gotta set me up for a while, at least not for life, but something like 20-something million where I can invest it and fall off in the shade, because that's what you would have to do. Would I do something like that? You would have to know me to know I'm too solid of a guy to even have somebody walk to me and ask me.
Yeah.
What happened to me is what was going to happen to him had he dropped those hands. Before we fought, I said, hey, you can knock me out and I can knock you out, and I'm going to try to fuck you up.
For a fighter like Jake Paul, someone who depends heavily on pressure, toughness, and belief, that mental shift could become the biggest fight of his career. Jake admitted that the Anthony Joshua bout taught him painful lessons. He said he underestimated the danger of facing a full-sized heavyweight with real knockout power. He now understands what elite boxing truly feels like, and more importantly, what it demands. And that's where the speculation explodes. Does Jake Paul return against another huge name to prove a point, or does he quietly rebuild against a safer, more stylistically favorable opponent?
It was celebrity boxing, but then he came out with the competitive side. I want a shot to be world champion. I want in there with Canelo. I'll step in there with Joshua. And you had this segment of the population that for whatever reason was not willing to concede that he was working hard, that he had big goals, and that he was secretly a tough guy. All options are on the table. Boxing, most obvious. But he's always had some ideas about MMA, and I think a walk against Anthony Joshua, broken jaw, and the respect of people that actually know what they're looking at. But I think all options are on the table.
Boxing is not a game. Fighting is not something you pick up and mess around with, right? If you're a fighter, if you're a boxer, if you're a mixed martial artist, right, you have to take this seriously and you have to respect the game. That's why when he fought Anthony Joshua, I scoffed at it. I talked a little bit of shit because of the lunacy. And I said, someone's going to end up dead. Someone can die. 10 to 13 boxers die per year. It is not a game. Now, of course, the man wants to make money and he wants to box people and he wants to entertain his fans and thrill audiences. And that's great. And God bless him. Fair play to him. The man is very, very successful. I've never talked about that. I've only talked about a 58-year-old Mike Tyson or fighting retired, semi-retired UFC legends and then talking about them, right? All I've ever said is box someone your own age and size. And then this thing with Anthony Joshua, I was like, this is crazy. Now let's talk about the actual fight for a second. It happened in the 6th round and it happened in a 22-foot ring. A typical ring is 20 foot. This one was 22 foot because he wanted a bigger room to operate, a bigger space, a bigger ring, somewhere to run away and be on his bike and stay away from Anthony Joshua. Now, I don't blame the guy. I'd have done the same thing, right? Because Anthony Joshua is gigantic and has the kind of power that could potentially do that to you, right? Maybe it's real, maybe it's AI, right? Either way, his face is going to be swollen today. That's a fact, right? The bigger ring gives you more space. Jake Paul did about 5 miles of road work, shot about 25 double leg takedowns because he didn't want to stand there and go toe to toe with him like Francis Ngannou did, because he knows what would have happened, okay? And ultimately, it ended up happening anyway in the 6th round. And yeah, okay, he's going to have the street cred of standing there and say, I went 6 rounds with Joshua. He didn't go 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. He ran around, he avoided the fight, and then ultimately got clipped, okay? They made $92 million each. Fair play. That is insane money, okay? And before you will start, there's no jealousy here, right? You can't be jealous of other men, but we're allowed as fighters to critique things like this, what we see, right? I've been in there, I've knocked people out, I've been knocked out, I commentate fights. This is my life. This is what I talk about. Now, on this post here, let's just have a look at this real quick. Whoever this person was is laughing, I think, and they're probably laughing because it's a fake post, it's AI. But the first person that responds is Andrew Tate, okay? 39 years old. Clearly, he got hoodwinked by the AI as well. Now, he says, why are you laughing at a man braver than you? And that is a great point. Okay. And the reason that Andrew Tate said that is because he also fought on Saturday night. He stepped in the ring at Misfits in Dubai, went up
clean, was the final shot. But, you know, he never flatlined Jake. I mean, he did break his jaw in 2 places, which is a disaster. But there are a lot of heavyweights that would have been out cold from that right hand. I mean, one of them was Francis Ngannou in a pretty similar shot, really. Do you know what I mean? So I actually give Jake unbelievable credit for doing it in the first place, but his performance as well. I mean, I stand by the fact that I think he's just a decent cruiserweight, but like, he did go in with Anthony Joshua, and look, the world is full of criticism and opinions and negativity. Who else is doing what he's doing at what is he, late 20s? I mean, quite phenomenal. I mean, the guy's a complete madman. I'm watching him come out to that ring walk, and he's just an incredible entertainer. And I'm sort of standing in the ring going, is he for real? And he did all right. I mean, I know people will talk about the holding, but his job was to survive, and he survived for nearly 6 complete rounds.
By the way,
he's remarkable.
You just referred to him as a decent cruiserweight, so I'm wondering, has he officially graduated? We all remember that face-to-face many, many moons ago. I was in the middle. You called him an average fighter, right?
Yeah,
he was very
he's definitely
offended.
graduated.
Okay.
Yeah, I did say it before in the build-up to that fight. I said I used to think he was an average fighter. Now I just think he's a decent cruiserweight. In my opinion, nowhere near world-class. But how many are? I mean, you know, he's obviously got a really decent chin. Maybe not anymore, but he did have a decent chin, because the shots that he stood up to and the final shot, like he was conscious. He was trying to get up. Do you know what I mean? So I said before, like, he's dedicated himself to the sport. He's having serious training camps. He's got the best facilities. He's got the best training. He's got good sparring. So he's definitely improved. And, you know, it's probably a mixture of a little bit of rust from AJ, just, you know, and the fact that he wasn't...
Because make no mistake, a jaw reinforced with metal plates isn't just a medical issue. It's a psychological one. One clean shot, one flashback moment, one instinct to pull back instead of firing back, and everything can unravel. Some insiders believe this will push Jake toward a smarter path. Cleaner matchups, less risk, and more control.
Johnson, I thought Jake Paul could knock out Anthony Joshua. You know, Jake Paul did land that shot that I was looking for. I was looking for Jake Paul to land that overhand right, which he did, and I thought that was going to put Anthony Joshua to sleep. You know, I thought he was going to be able to knock him out. I truly thought that, right? Obviously, when you look at Anthony Joshua's past fights, when he fought Andy Ruiz and he fought Dubois, he got knocked out by some weird stuff. Maybe it was the grind that he was in that caused him to get knocked out so easy by those overhand rights, right? Go back and watch those fights. That's what happened. That's why I went with Jake Paul to win. Now, let's talk about the fight. So, I think when it comes, the biggest thing when you look at Jake Paul when he fights, is he fighting real boxers? Is he fighting guys that, like I always said, I want to see Jake Paul fight somebody in a gym that's 8-2, that's gone through Golden Gloves, that's that's putting stuff together. When you look at his, his victories, he's knocked out Tyron Woodley, he's beat Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley's 0-3. I would think, he's beat Anderson Silva, who just knocked out Tyron Woodley. The hardest thing is, like, can we consider Jake Paul a real boxer? There's a part of me that said, what is a real boxer? Like, what's a real boxer? Right? You're looking at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, what's a real black belt? What's a black belt? What's not a black belt? What's a blue belt? And I think that's that thing that we're all fucking 6'7". That's where we're all trying to grasp, right? What is reality? Is Jake Paul a legit boxer or is he not? I was getting frustrated seeing him, shoot a double leg and get on it.
Trying to, insult this guy. I'm not, but I'm as a fighter, as a former fighter, as someone that's very experienced in the world of mixed martial arts and combat sports in general, right? This is a crazy shout. He lost because he was smaller. He lost because of the size difference. He also lost because he had no business being in there with him. Anthony Joshua is by far a better boxer. Of course he is. You know this. Every one of you watching this knows that. I know that. The whole world knows that. And of course, this guy's his manager, so he's going to spin it. But there is a reason why we have managers. We have managers to protect us from ourselves. To say, hold on a minute, that's crazy. Don't box Anthony Joshua. You might leave in a coffin. But this guy now afterwards is defending it still and saying he lost because he got tired. He did get tired. And there was a lot of clinching. But the clinching was from Jake Paul, from him shooting, from him actually getting double underhooks, from him doing anything he could when Anthony Joshua moved forward to stop the punches being thrown. When you're clinching, you can't throw punches. And the referee should have got in there a lot quicker as well. But for this guy to be blaming it on the size only and not the skill is insane. And whilst Jake Paul goes off to hospital and has to have surgery, and yeah, those AI images are probably bullshit and all the rest of it, right? He's sitting there counting his money. Listen, Jake Paul's made loads of money. He's had lots of big lucrative fights, and he probably will continue to have more. And I wish him the best of luck. I really do. Just box someone your own size, not a 35er, not a super heavyweight, not a two-time world champion, okay, or a gold medalist at the Olympics. Fight a cruiserweight.
Others believe the opposite, that Jake will go after another massive name, desperate to erase the Anthony Joshua loss and prove he belongs on the biggest stage. And that's where the real tension now lies. Jake Paul isn't just fighting opponents anymore. He's fighting doubt. Doubt from fans, doubt from analysts, and doubt from those questioning whether his body and his confidence can survive another war.
Swinging away, throwing 100 punches around. So I actually quite like the fact that we got some rounds because got a chance to work with a new team. And all in all, it was a wonderful experience for us. I mean, AJ made a fortune. His star power in the US has gone through the roof. I mean, if you take any notice of the internet right now, I mean, he's just become like an icon, especially amongst the ladies, which he's been an icon over here amongst the ladies for many decades, but now in the US as well. And people are kind of coming across him for the first time, which is quite strange when I see that on social media, because obviously from here, he's one of the most recognizable figures in sport. So yeah, wonderful experience. It ticks every box, right? Profile, money, activity. And it couldn't have gone better for us.
Okay, so there's a lot I actually want to ask you about what you just said, but I was just talking about that, how I've been watching AJ since the Olympics, have admired, I think I've watched every single one of his pro fights. It's an honor to work his fights, and to see online Americans and American women almost stumble on him like they just found it, like he's a rookie.
Who's this guy? Yeah, I know.
Who's this Greek god? Who's this? Oh my, they're like infatuated with him. Does that, obviously it makes you chuckle because you've known him for so long, but does that change any sort of future plans for him? Like, hey, we need to bring him back to America. There's something there.
I mean, look, I think obviously the American sort of strategy took a big blow in the Andy Ruiz fight, and I think if we would have won that fight, I think we would have returned several times since. Obviously the size of the audience on Friday, and also we've even seen it on a much smaller level with our documentary.